Hello and welcome to My Newt News. My name's not Newt. I am not a Newt, but you can call me Newt. I wanted to talk to you today. About last week I did a video of review of Madam Web, and if you would like to go see that, I would appreciate it. Thank you very much. But a couple of days after I watched Madam Web, I watched Top Gun, the original Top Gun, not the new one. And the contrast was frankly kind of surprising because, I kind of thought of Top Gun as an action airplane movie with a little bit of romance thrown in, popcorn movie. Not super well written, not amazing. And while watching it, I thought, you know what? They did a better job in Top Gun of showing emotions and motivations and background on characters. It was a lot better movie than Madam Web. I may be slightly rethinking my 2.5 to 3 star rating on Madam Web. It may be not quite that good. But, when you go in with super low expectations and the movie meets your super low expectations, maybe I gave it a little bit more than it deserved. And I'm not saying in any way, shape, or form, even right after I watched it, I didn't think, oh my God, this is an amazing movie. It's great. It's awesome. No. It was a marginal, watch it for free. You didn't really waste your time, but don't pay a lot of money to see it kind of movie. Top Gun, I was really surprised that it's an actual movie. It's not just action with a side of romance. And I got to thinking, the budget on it was $15 million, which of course that's in $86. And I went to their fancy inflation calculator here, and that comes up to about $42 million, which is cheap by modern standards. But I personally think that governments over the last, 40 years or so at least, have kind of fudged inflation numbers and kind of kept them lower than they really were just so that they would look better. So if you calculate it that way, then, it might be 50, 60 million, which is still not an expensive movie. Even if it was double that, 84 million, that's not an expensive movie anymore. Now, Madam Web, if you go to it, they say here in the numbers that it was an 80 million. Now, if you go to, is it this one, CBR? Yeah. Madam Web's budget was bigger than we originally thought. And I think they gave it about 100, in the low 100 million range, which, even factoring for inflation, was quite a bit more than Top Gun. And granted, Top Gun didn't have computer effects, but they showed a lot of airplanes, and I'm thinking that they had to make a deal with the Navy, and I don't think that it was a cheap at the time to make movie. Everybody in the movie industry makes more money than they used to, and now it's almost to the point where they list who drove by while they were filming. I mean, everybody, the caterer, the person sweeping the floor, they all get credits in the movie, which I think is a bit excessive, but okay, whatever. So, 100 million range, low 100 million range, which could mean anything up to, 130 million? And here in Collider, they're saying, budget of 100 million, but that they would have to make 150 to 200 million to break even, and it doesn't look like that's going to make it. And Top Gun, even domestic, made almost 200 million, not altered for inflation. So let me just take a look, just out of curiosity. Let's see what that works out to. $500 million. So basically, it did make over $1 billion with inflation taken into account. Yep, just over $1 billion. Now, has the industry changed? Have the ratios of how much is made in the theater, how much of that goes to the theater, how much of it goes to the movie studios, has that changed? I don't know. It's entirely possible. But if you look at Avengers Endgame, which was quite a popular movie and made a crap ton of money. Now, if you look at Top Gun, it came out in mid-May of 86 and it was still in theaters until January of 87. That's a long time. That's a long freaking time. Now, Avengers, it came out in April of 2019, left early September of 2019. So, maybe half. But of course, that's partly the changes in the movie industry and the viewing public. And a lot of times, a lot of people that, would have waited until fourth, fifth month of Top Gun to go see it in the theater, maybe go see it at a matinee show. Now those people are watching Avengers Endgame 3 or 4 months down the line on streaming on TV. So, yes, I understand that the industry has changed a lot. However, I still think that modern movies are moving in the wrong direction, that they think, oh, we give them enough explosions and special effects and big-breasted women and men without shirts on, or trans people, or, whatever they decide they need to show to get the audience in there. I think they're falling down because I think, does that get a certain element? Yes, but the movies aren't as good. If you look at, say, The Thin Man, from 1930 whatever, 32, 34, somewhere in there. That still holds up. A modern person can sit down and watch that movie and be entertained. It's got witty dialogue, it's got a mystery, it's got a great relationship between the two main characters. In, 90 years from now, is anybody going to say that about Madame Web? I don't think so. Or how many of the movies are you going to say, I'd sit down and watch that 80, 90 years later? Even big movies like Avengers Endgame, are people going to be watching that 50, 80, 100 years? I kind of lean toward not. Are they going to be watching Top Gun? Maybe. I mean, it's got a better story. Of course, then it would be antique airplanes, assuming we even still have airplanes in 100 years. They might be flying around and flying saucers. I don't know. Chances are I'm not going to live to see it, so I don't care. But the whole point of this video is Hollywood needs to up its game. They need to get better writers. They need to focus on better writing. They need to make better movies. Because, yeah, you see flashes and it's all exciting. Yeah, that works for the people watching it in the movie theater on opening weekend because it's an experience. But like I say, even now, Avengers Endgame is 5 years old? Except for a few hardcore comic book people. How many families are going to sit down and watch that as opposed to the original Top Gun? I think that's a lot more likely. All right, well, that's my 2 cents worth. If you want to put in your 2 cents worth, put your opinion there in the comments. I'll take a look at it, and I'll either agree with it or I won't. If you want to give me a like and subscribe, I'd appreciate it. Thanks. Bye.